If I had to start over trading, these are the 10 tricks I wish I knew when I first started. The first few are really important for your trading, but the last ones, those are really the ones that took me from being an unprofitable trader to consistently profitable. My trading got 100 times better after I learned these 10 trading tricks. When I first started trading, I constantly heard the term that the trend is your friend and you want to trade with the trend. Anytime I would see big momentum moves like this, I would think, okay, the market is going to the upside. I need to figure out how to buy and get into the long side. And instead, what that would do a lot of the time is I would buy in because I was trying to catch the move to the upside, and instead it would reverse on me, knocking me out and making a losing trade. And when I started to shift my mind, thinking of taking the counter trend trades in the market, I drastically improved my win rate and was able to spot high probability setups where I would be seeing that the market would go up, and then I would bet that it was going to reverse that. And instead of being the person that would be getting caught, I would be catching people and capturing big wins to the downside. And this goes into the second thing I started doing that really helped, is looking for uncommon patterns in the market. Everyone is always looking for your basic horizontal support, double top, following the current trend and buying off of when it comes to a trend line. If everyone's doing that, it's not gonna work. And instead, what I started to notice is wait for it to come up to a level like this and do a fake out, or what I call a failed breakout, where it broke the previous highs of a strong resistance zone, getting people long, making them think it's gonna keep going higher, and instead it flips on them. Now is I just wait for it to fail back in and then capture a potential move to the other side. Comparing that trade to this trade here is the old trade I used to take is, look, I'm looking for a double bottom here and I'm buying the market. And another thing that really helps my trading is looking for exhaustive moves to one side, waiting for the market to get overextended instead of having a methodical trend. That's unlikely for the market to make a solid move in one direction. Comparing that to this trade right here, you can see it's chopped around and then exploded in one direction. Make it likely that if it reverses that, it does it quickly and in a big way, allowing a big opportunity for you to capture. And so instead of looking for those basic common patterns that you see people constantly talking about, look for these more specific patterns where the market is at extremes. You want to trade based on extremes in the market because that's where the biggest opportunity is. Now the third thing is check out this trade right here. I have entered in long here after it's made this clean double bottom. There's been some strong selling pressure that I think big picture wise is going to reverse the market higher. The thing I used to do is I would just leave my trade on, put my stop loss where it is, put my profit target where it is, and say, okay, I'm just gonna let the trade play out. If I get 2 times my risk here and get, $2,000 in profit, great. And if my trade loses, it loses. But I have found over time, the best thing that you can start doing is when you're in the trade a while, the best trades happen quickly. Just like that last trade we looked at, it went up, it kind of chopped around for a minute, and then it puked back lower. And so this trade right here, it's gone down, it's made a double bottom. This momentum you would think is, okay, if it's gonna get going, this is a really solid buying opportunity and it should just skyrocket to the upside. And so instead of just skyrocketing and getting going, it starts to chop around, which, makes a little sense. It's probably gonna find some minor resistance at this area. But if it starts to chop around too long and start to sell off, you have to take into account what the market is doing. And the market is showing that, okay, it's made a pullback here, and this is the last kind of thing I would want to see. If it pulls back here and goes higher, great. But if it doesn't, you need to get out of the trade. And so at that point, I move my stop essentially to break even. I keep it above this low extreme just to kind of follow the price action. What you want to start doing is when you're in a trade and it makes a signal like this, where it makes essentially a lower high right here off of an area where it could potentially slow down and reverse, you got to get out. You cannot get married to the trade hoping that it's going to become profitable. It's better to get out because the market's really telling you clear signals that, hey, we're just in kind of a choppy range at the moment, and it's better to just get out. If it was gonna work out, it would have worked out by now, but instead, it chops us out. But it doesn't matter because you're at break even. Now, if you don't have anything to analyze chart patterns, I highly recommend getting NinjaTrader. I've used it for over 5 years now, and it is an extremely powerful platform with a ton of indicators, add-ons, allowing you to enter and exit trades seamlessly. You can check it out in the link in the description or this QR code. Now, something that lost me a ton of money when it came to trading was doing things like revenge trading or trading too long, or when I get in a loss, taking more trades, trying to, make the money back, or just trading when I was too tired. What you need to do is have a structure to your trading. Have a schedule you are following. Every day for me, I wake up at about 6:30 and I'm on looking at the charts by about 7 or 7:15. The market opens up at 7:30 my time. And so from about 7:30 is when the market opens, I'm looking for my specific pattern. What you want to be doing is you want to go into every day looking for a specific pattern. And so for me, I trade from about 7:30 to sometimes this trade only lasted till about 8 o'clock. I was done in about 45 minutes. But if I trade longer, I, trade maybe an hour and a half, take a break, and then trade another hour. But that's how I'm able to consistently execute a strategy over time. Because if you're doing the same thing constantly, you will know when certain things are off. You want to know when you are frustrated, when you're too tired, or when you're just not seeing the market right. Having a specific stop time or rules on when you're going to stop, like if you take too many losses in a day or if you lose too much money-wise, that is going to really help you not have days where you blow up your account. Because for me, the biggest thing when I first started trading was having days where I lost way more than I won because I just went on a revenge trading spree. And that goes into this next trick of focusing on trading in the big picture. Every day is going to be different. Some days are great for your trading strategy and some days suck, where either there's no trading opportunities or it's just the market's really hard to read and you need to learn to just not trade during those days. When the market is super choppy like this, for a really clear example is you can see the market's just back and forth. And even when the market opens here, the candlesticks, if you look, are just all next to each other. There's no clean moves in one direction. Look, this is the first 30 minutes of movement right here. And if I go back to this trade on this day, this is the first 30 minutes on a different day. And you can see this is way more tradable. And so what you want to do is you don't want to be going into trading trying to force trades on days like this where the market is just crappy and all over the place and just not moving because the opportunity isn't there. Trading is not about making money every day. It's about making money over the long run. And most of the time, you're gonna have a couple days that make your month. You're gonna be making consistent trades maybe every other day or something, depending on how your strategy is, but you're gonna have a couple of trades that really are massive and make the rest of your month. And so make sure to focus on the idea that, okay, approach the day that is this a good trading day or not? And do I want to even sit around for it? Or do I just need to be patient, take a break maybe, and then come back if it starts to move? The next really key thing is trade during peak market times where volume is the biggest. The biggest time that I've noticed, at least trading the S&P 500, is the first couple hours of the day is the highest volume and the highest movement, where the bigger opportunities are. And then about the last hour of the trading day is where the biggest opportunities are as well. That's how most markets run, no matter where you are in the world. So if you're in a different time zone where, maybe trading the S&P 500 and the main US stock market doesn't really work, you can trade other important market sessions like the Asian or the Australian or the European. All those are gonna allow you to have times where those markets are moving drastically and creating good opportunities. Something that also damaged my trading in the beginning was trying to capture every move or swing in the market. This is really impossible when it comes to trading. And so what I found over time for me that really worked was focus on the extremes. This really goes with those initial patterns we were talking about of looking at when the market's at an extreme in terms of those patterns and those smaller movements, but also big picture of looking at, okay, zooming out on a larger time frame, where are the extreme, supply and demand zones that the market is bouncing off between. Recently in these past couple of days, it's been going back and forth between this range right here. And so anytime it's in the middle of that range, I stay away. But anytime it's near the highs, I am really focused and looking at what's going on, because it's highly likely that with those areas, it's going to reverse, because that's what it's done before. The market likes to repeat what it's done before a lot of the time. That same thing goes for a choppy market like we had before. This morning, the market was super choppy back and forth. And so I really didn't take any trades today because I said, oh, well, the market's choppy and it's likely to continue that. And essentially you can see over the rest of the day, there's been some movement back and forth, but really not enough to have good trading opportunities. Another big factor is using proper risk-reward ratios. I traded really small risk-reward ratios when I first started out, and it really messed up my trading because I was risking a large amount a lot of the time to make a small amount. And so this really messed up my risk-reward ratio. What you want instead is, I highly recommend going for about 2 or 3 times your risk. So if you're risking $100 or $1,000, you're going for $300 or $3,000 because it allows you to be wrong. And if you look at a table, the math of it all, if you have a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, you can be break even at a 30% win rate. And at 50%, you're making great money. Now, when I first started trading, I was really excited about the potential money I could make. I found a few patterns. I realized that, the person using them was really successful doing them. They were making a ton of money. And I opened up an account with real money and started trading right away. And what I didn't realize that it would take me a long time to kind of figure out even just the basics of using a trading platform, getting those down, the consistency of having a trading schedule and doing it repeatedly over and over, and not getting bogged down and trying to capture other moves throughout the day, but instead of just waiting for that one specific pattern. And so what I highly recommend, because I've seen traders lose tens of thousands of dollars because they skipped this step, is that you need to start on a demo account first. Start using NinjaTrader on a demo account. Practice whatever strategy you want to practice. Just get used to the platform because there's a lot to learn about it, and allow yourself time to prove to yourself that you can make consistent money demo trading. Because if you don't do that over a couple weeks or even a couple months, you're gonna consistently lose money when it comes to actually switching to a real account. Just like anything, there's a lot of mistakes you're gonna make in the beginning, and mistakes in trading lose you money. Just give it a few weeks or a couple months to get yourself kind of settled, and then you can start trading with real money. And this really goes into the last point of treating trading like a business. You're not doing this for fun. You are doing this to make consistent money over time. That's what any business is. You put in an initial capital, you risk money by, let's say opening a restaurant, and then over time, you work at it consistently over and over to start making a profit over time. But that's not gonna happen right away. Would you really expect your business, if you start a restaurant business, to start making a ton of money right away? Very unlikely. Usually, a business grows slowly over time. Treat trading the exact same way. Focus on the process of what makes it successful, because what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow you to build it properly, and it's gonna allow you to focus on the correct things. You do not want to be going back and forth constantly when it comes to trading, losing money, starting a new trading plan, not having to work, and trying to constantly learn something else that might work. You need to stick with something for a while and focus on the process of what makes it work. Now, this is just 10 things I have learned along my trading career. I've created a full free 75 list of key lessons I've learned over my 7 years of trading. I highly recommend getting it either in the link in the description or using this QR code. Just using the few minutes that it will take you to read through that list could save you thousands of dollars. So I highly recommend getting that. It's totally free. And if you want to learn more about a strategy that I have used to be consistently profitable over time, check out this video right here. It'll go into every detail on what it takes to become consistently profitable at scalping.